Good evening, North Penn parents. We're going to wait here about 45 seconds or so to a minute till the room fills up a little bit here. You're here for the North Penn School District Course Advancement Information Night. I'm Bob Gilmer, Coordinator of Communications Media, and we've got a lot of great presentations to take place tonight, but we're going to just give this a few seconds before we begin to make sure the room levels out and everybody gets in here so they don't miss a second of an amazing presentation we have from everybody tonight. And I'm watching the attendees begin to level out. It's happening very quickly. So I think we're about ready to go. The one thing before I introduce Mr. Pete Nicholson is that as we go through the night tonight, there's a couple ground rules I want you to look at, or a couple best practices. Down at the bottom of your screen, there's a little Q&A tab, and that's where we're going to take questions tonight. However, I would love that we wait to ask questions till the presentations are over, because typically most of the questions that people have get answered in the course of the presentation. So if there's anything else that's qualifying that you need to understand after the presentation, that's where it's going to go. And I just saw a hand raise up there. We're not going to use any raising of hands. If you do that, I'll just be waving back at you tonight. But the other key thing we like to remind everybody about is that tonight is not about particular personal, your student questions. It's really about the general overview, and we always ask that you reach out to your guidance counselor for those individual questions as we go through this process tonight. So with that being said, our room has definitely leveled out. You are here for the North Penn School District Course Advancement Information Night, and I'd like to introduce Pete Nicholson, our Director of Secondary Ed, to kick us off tonight and lead us into the presentations. Pete.
All right, Mr. Gilmer, thank you for the introduction. Thank you for the ground rules. I appreciate you setting that out there and making my job easy, because I was going to spend a few minutes talking about that. So I appreciate everyone coming out this evening. Take a look at the North Penn School District Course Advancement Summer 2024 overview. And that is exactly what tonight is. Tonight, I'm going to speak for a few minutes. I have Ms. Strauss and Ms. Ruth from MCIU, from our partners from MVP. They're going to present some high-level pieces about what the curriculum looks like and how to go about this process. But again, this is a high-level overview. We're scheduled to be here for about 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to look to answer as many questions as we can. But as Mr. Gilmer said, if your question begins with my son, my daughter, my student, my child, save that for your student's guidance counselor. This is a high-level overview. I want to give you a good sense of what it is we're doing, what it is that course advancement is about in North Penn School District, and answer those high-level questions as we go along and at the end. But again, if it's very particular to your child's situation, please hold that and get in touch with the counselor tomorrow or thereafter. So again, my name is Pete Nicholson. I'm the Administrator of Secondary Education and Renovations for North Penn School District. My contact information is on the screen. And it's our pleasure tonight to give you just a quick rundown of what course advancement is in North Penn School District and how you can go about signing up and processing a registration for this coming school year. I'm sorry, this coming summer. So what is course advancement? If you're here tonight, hopefully you're here to look at a way to provide your student an opportunity to access curricula beyond what their current trajectory will permit. So if you're looking at where they are, regardless of grade level, where do they project to be by the time they graduate from North Penn School District, from North Penn High School? And you're looking at maybe a gap. They're going to get to a certain level of math. They're going to get to a certain level of science. They're going to get to a certain level of language, world language, and we want them to be able to get a little bit further than that. And we believe that they have what it takes to do so. And that's really what course advancement is in North Penn School District. So let's dive into some of the details. And again, I'll try and make this as concise as possible, but give you the information that you really need. So course advancement is completed in 8 weeks. I mentioned MVP, Montgomery Virtual Program, and our partners from the intermediate unit are going to talk a lot more about that after I'm done presenting briefly this overview. What courses are available? The first course is geometry, passing grade of a 90% or above, and I'll talk a little bit about why that's a little bit different than the other two. Introduction to Physical Science is a passing grade of an 85% or above. And then finally, world language is determined on a case-by-case basis. You want to see your counselor about that. And world language is limited to a one-time course advancement opportunity. So if your child, if your student has already course advanced, let's say Spanish 1, they would not be permitted to course advance Spanish 2. It's really to be able to get them to that next level, to potentially get them to an AP world language level, where they don't currently project to get there, but we do not permit double course advancement. What we've seen is those students that double course advance simply do not do well when they get back into the brick and mortar North Penn High School world language, because they don't have, it's an 8-week program, right? It's not designed to be an entire 180 days. So there is some missing content there. And even for a student that's very gifted in language, it takes a special person to course advance, and to do it twice, we've not seen great success there. So the program details. What is the cost? First and foremost, the cost is $425 per course. There's financial assistance if you're eligible and if you're recommended for the course advancement course. And I'll talk a little bit about that as we move forward. The maximum enrollment for any one student is 2 courses during the course of a summer. So for this coming summer, if you are interested in geometry and you're interested in physical science, you would not be permitted to take both of those and a world language. You could take 1, you may take 2, you may not take 3 in any one summer. Courses begin on May 24th this year. So yes, the courses do begin before the end of the school year. And the reason they begin before the end of the school year, before the middle of June, is because there is a deadline of June 19th to complete the entire coursework of the 8 weeks. Why is there a deadline there? And why does it say in big, bold red letters, no extensions? Simply because we have staffing ramifications, we have scheduling ramifications, and we need to know on July 19th who has passed their courses, how students have matriculated through the curriculum, and if they're eligible to move on to that next course in sequence for the upcoming school year. We have 3,000 students in North Penn High School. We have 3,000 students across our 3 middle schools, and we have master schedules and schedules for all of these students that have to be developed, transportation for students that might pass a course and now be headed to the high school for the next course in sequence. We simply don't have time to grant extensions after July 19th. So yes, if you sign your student up for this, students, if you're listening tonight and you sign up for this, you will be starting your course advancement coursework. You will be online doing MVP coursework while school is in session for this year. If you do not, and you wait until June, you'll have roughly 4 weeks to complete an 8-week course. And no one wants to spend their summer doing that. So yes, wrap your head around the fact that there is no extension on July 19th. If you call us over the summer and say, but we're going on vacation, I'm sorry. We're here. It's still January for the next 28, 30 hours. We've got plenty of time to make those schedules, but we need everyone done by July 19th. If you're not complete, then you would not complete the course. And then students are eligible at the completion of grade 7. So students that are currently in grade 7 are eligible for this. If you're currently sitting there and your student is in grade 6, you are not eligible. Okay. So how does this work? What's the process look like? First of all, as we've said a couple times, you are going to want to have a conversation with your school counselor. The first step in this process is really to go into school, have a conversation with your counselor, and talk about if you as a student, if your child as a student really is in a position to take advantage of course advancement. Course advancement is not for every student. It is not for every child in the district. If it were, we'd have many more than 60 or so folks on this evening. This is for a special kind of student that really wants to advance themselves. So you start with your counselor. There is an online application. That online application will be open starting February 1st, which is, that is Thursday. And it closes on March 22nd. Again, deadlines are firm. Because after March 22nd, there are processes that need to go through. Our counselors start looking at the requests, start processing on their side, so we can get things back out to families in time to register. You can find on the district website for families, course advancement. That's how you log in. That's how you sign up. Counselors after March 22nd after they do all of the work on their end, will notify students of the recommendation decision. And those students that are recommended can register for their courses through MVP starting April 12th. April 12th to May 3rd is registration. Again, I'll say it is the third deadline that I'm talking about tonight. This deadline is firm as well because the folks I'm going to introduce in just a few minutes, they have their work to do. They need to get teachers lined up. They need to get websites ready. They need to get everything on their side set to go so it can launch on March 24th. I'm sorry, May 24th, and have things ready for your student on the first day of course advancement. So let's talk a little bit more about what's required. Students attempting to course advanced geometry must meet a minimum grade of 90%. And I said I would talk about that in a few minutes. We've done some statistical analysis of students taking geometry. And simply put, those that get less than a 90% do not do well in Algebra 2 and beyond as they matriculate through their high school career. The cutoff is 85% for world language. It's 85% for physical science because we've seen that students that participate in course advancement and receive an 85% do just fine moving forward. It's really that math piece where something is lacking when students have below a 90%. Current 9th through 12th, or 11th graders, so current right now, if your child is in 9th grade and takes course advancement this summer, that course advancement course will be listed on their transcript. It will not calculate towards a GPA, nor will it calculate towards class rank, but it will show up on their transcript. If your child's currently in 7th or 8th grade, their course advancement course will not show up on their transcript. So think about this. If you're in 9th grade and you take right now and you take geometry this summer, that geometry will be on your transcript as one of your math credits. It will not calculate towards GPA. It will not calculate towards class rank, but it will be there as a 1 credit course that's awarded to you on your transcript. Again, you must be in 9th grade right now as we speak on January 30th, 2024 for this summer's course advancement courses to show up on your transcript. So why do we use MVP? Why is it that we're talking about this? Why am I going to hand this over in just a minute or two to our folks from the IU to talk about MVP? There are a number of reasons. Number one, it's aligned to standards. It's aligned to the PA core and to the state standards, and it's also aligned to North Penn curriculum. We know when you take an MVP course and you perform well in an MVP course, you will be set and you will be ready to take that next course in sequence. That curriculum has been reviewed by our teachers, and we know it's rigorous. We know that the instruction, the assessments are aligned to what we need students to be able to do and to know moving forward. The students that take MVP courses for course advancement this summer do not take a North Penn final. There are assessments ongoing throughout the entire summer, and it's aligned to the standards, as I said. So if you pass the course with a 90% in geometry or 85% in physical science or world language, you pass the course. There's no coming into North Penn to take a final to prove that you know. If you pass the course, you pass the course. And then finally, affordability. I talked a little bit about price. $425, I believe I said, is pretty affordable when you look at online coursework because we do partner with the IU throughout the school year. So questions. I already mentioned this. I'm not going to harp on this. With questions about your specific child, and again, we'll answer some questions as we move on. But questions about your specific child starts with your school counselor. So I think this is the last slide I have before I turn it over. Save the date. So students that register, students that are recommended, and then students that sign up with and pay for and get themselves set up with MVP will have a mandatory orientation. There are two options for that. The first option is an in-person virtual orientation on May 21st at 6 p.m. So save the date for May 21st at 6 p.m. Or there's a self-guided online session for those of you that are like, you know what, I got this. I understand technology. I will have no issues with this. You can do it yourself. But if you need that little, additional touch from somebody in person, May 21st at 6 p.m. You're going to be asked to select your choice. and you should have your device. You should have your Chromebook. You should have your computer ready for the orientation to get you signed on and logged on and ready to go. So with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen, and let me see if I can stop share, pause share.
I think she's good to go. I see the
Did it come down? I just want to make sure.
You're still sharing at this point.
I'm still sharing. Stop share. There it is.
There
Sorry,
we
I'm used to
go.
Google Meets, not Zoom as much. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Christy, Ruth, and Ann Drouse from MVP and let them take it away with specifics for the program.
All right, Ms. Strauss, can you see my screen?
I can, thank you.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Mr. Nicholson. My name is Christy Ruth, and I am the program administrator for the Montgomery Virtual Program. And with me tonight, I have Ann Drouse, who is our program coordinator for the Montgomery Virtual Program. And our contact information is here on the screen. And like Mr. Nicholson mentioned, we are from the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit. Our program is actually housed in the Office of Organizational and Professional Learning. So we do have other members of our MVP team who are part of that office. We have our office director, who is Dr. Donna Gaffney. We have a project consultant in the area of special education for virtual students, and her name is Cassie Bruges. And we also have Lisa Moore, who is our business support and billing. So we do have a whole team within our office that supports the Montgomery Virtual Program, and then our wider role within the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit. Virtual education really is a shared responsibility. We partner with your school district, the North Penn School District, to provide summer course advancement. It really is a shared responsibility between our partnership with the district, you at home as the family and as the student. We all work together in a partnership to support our virtual learners to make sure that they're successful. And we'll talk a little bit about those different roles and what they look like. What is MVP's role? What is your district's role? And then what is you as the family and the student's role? But just know that we do all need to work together to ensure that your student is successful this summer. So Mr. Nicholson already touched on these dates, so I won't go through all of them again, but what I really want to highlight is the importance of making sure that you do pay attention to these dates. There are 2 different applications that have to be completed. You do have to consult with your counselor and complete that North Penn School District application. That has to be done by March 22nd. And then once you have completed that application process, you will register with MVP. That registration does not open until April 12th. And I'll actually show you on our website what that process looks like so that you'll be prepared when that does open up on April 12th. And then just a quick reminder, the program orientation is on May 21st, and your courses do start on May 24th with that firm end date of July 19th. So we talked a little bit about that partnership and how that's really critical for student success. So what does that look like in each of the roles? How can you as a family at home support your student and make sure that they're doing what they need to do this summer so that they can complete their course on time and be successful in that course? So really the first key to student success is communication. It's just really important that if your student has a question or if you have a question as a family member or a parent, that you know what to do and who to reach out to. First of all, your student can always reach out to their teacher. They have a PA certified online teacher who is assigned. They can reach out to that teacher through email with questions, and they can also set up appointments to meet that teacher in Zoom and get their questions answered. If your student has a question about their platform, if something's not working quite right, if they need some tech support, they can always reach out to the MVP team through email, or they can give us a call and we can help support them through that. There's also tech support that is built in through the platform that they will be working in, which is Imagine Learning. If your student has a specific question about something that has to do with North Penn School District, something to do with the particular course that they're enrolled in, they can always reach out to their counselor at the school district as well. And it's really important as part of communication that they not only reach out with those questions, but they follow up until they get the answer. You also want to support your student around maintaining a schedule. It's really important to be consistent in online learning. They want to make sure that they're setting aside a time, probably daily, but if not, on a schedule that works for them so that they can complete the course on time. If they know that there's going to be a period of time where they cannot be online, maybe they have a job that they work every other day, so they know that they're going to be working not consistently daily, but every other day, they can work ahead. They can go ahead and move ahead. The course is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week during that course time, so they can work ahead. Perhaps you do have a vacation planned and you know that the student may not be able to access their course for a few days. It is possible for them to plan around that, set that schedule, and work ahead just as long as they complete that course on time. So just staying consistent and making sure that they're maintaining a schedule. There are also supports that are built into the platform to help your student be successful and to continue to move forward in their course. One of those supports is academic support chat. We call it Concept Coach Chat. And it has very extensive and accessible hours. They're available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. They're available on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And they're available on Sunday from 6:30 p.m. until 10 p.m. This is different from their teacher that is assigned to their course. This is actual support chat. So if your student is working in a course and they have a question, there's a button that they can push that for need help. They can click there. It will bring up a certified teacher in the subject area that they're working in to help support them and answer their questions. And that will be demoed during that orientation that we talked about on May 21st. So your student will know how to access that should they need to. And then it's just really important that they make the most of this flexible learning environment. Yes, it is flexible, but in many ways, it does operate very much like working in a brick and mortar classroom. It's important to take notes. It's important to not sit around and wait on communication and on questions. If they're confused, if they need help, they can access that support chat. They can send that email to that teacher, but don't wait to get those questions answered because like Mr. Nicholson said, it does need to be completed by the end date of the course. So we want to make sure that we get those questions answered, get them supported so that they can continue to move forward. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what that registration process looks like and then what our platform looks like. But just a couple of high level points before I do that. Registration, when it opens in April, will be done through our website. And on our website, there are instructional videos and step-by-step directions on how to complete that registration process. Once your student is registered and has access to our student dashboard, and you will have access as a parent to our parent dashboard, you will see that dashboard is password protected. It is there for you to be able to monitor your student. And on the student side, it's for them to be able to launch directly into their courses. So they will be logging into the same place every day, and you as a parent will be logging into the same place to monitor your student. So I'm going to stop sharing at this point and just show you a little bit about what that looks like. Actually, I'm going to continue to share. I'm just going to share a different site with you. Okay, so this is our website. This is mvp.mciu.org. So when you're ready in April to register your student with MVP, you're going to visit our website and you're going to click on Register a Student. And it's going to bring you to this page, our Parent Pay Registration page. And as you'll notice, there is a video that takes you through step-by-step how to register with MVP. We also have a breakdown here. And then we have a more extensive step-by-step breakdown at the bottom of the page. So you have all the directions from start to finish on how to create your account or log into your account, how to check your email and access that information so that you can get into the parent and student dashboard, and then how to actually register your student and make a payment. You'll find all of that in this same location. So I encourage you, you can go out now and take a look. Again, it does not open until April. We're currently still in spring registration at this point, but you can certainly go out, take a look, and read through those steps so that you're prepared on that day. Once you follow all of those steps and you're registered and you're ready to access the parent dashboard or the student dashboard, you will come into our MVP Genius SIS, which is our parent or student dashboard. The student and parent dashboard look very similar. You will see a tile for the course or courses that your student is enrolled in. This student is currently enrolled in a geometry course. You will see where you can request course for your student, where you can make payments. And then once the student begins to actually work in the course, you'll start to notice this progress bar move, and there will be grading information here as well. If you have more than one student who is enrolled with the Montgomery Virtual Program, as a parent on the parent dashboard, you will be able to toggle back and forth between your students so that you can check up on both of them, make payments for both of them, whatever you need to do, you will have access to that as a parent. But for students, when they log in every day, this is the view that they will see. They'll see their course tiles here. When they're ready to work, they'll click launch, and it'll launch them into the Imagine Learning Student Information System. And this is where they'll begin their work for the day. From this dashboard, they can check their progress. They can leave a message for their teacher. They can look at how much of a course they've completed in their academic snapshot. It'll show their grade. It'll show how much of the course has been completed, what the target completion is. So there should be no question about where they are in the course, how they're progressing, what their grade is. If they need to leave that message for their teacher, they're going to click on course information, and it's going to show them information about their teacher. Here you can see this teacher's name is Judith Velarde. This is her phone number. This is her email address. And if they want to book that appointment that I talked about to meet their teacher in Zoom, they can do this here as well. They can access that teacher's calendar and book those appointments. We will cover this more in depth on May 21st in the student orientation, but I did want you to be aware that all of it is in one location. It's very easy to navigate for the student. They see the same thing every single day. So it's really just a reminder when they log in every day and they launch that if they need to talk to their teacher, they can go ahead and do that. And then when they're ready to work, they're just going to click on their name of their course, and it's going to launch them directly into the courseware so that they can begin their work for the day. So that's just a high-level overview of registering for courses with Montgomery Virtual Program and what the dashboard will look like for you as a parent and then also as a student. Just a couple of reminders. Our business hours are Monday through Friday. We're there from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can always reach us through email at mvp@mciu.org or by phone at 484-687-4101. In the summer, the best way to get in touch with us is through email. We oftentimes will check our email even after 4 p.m., depending on what our availability is. But we always recommend that you, if you call us and you're not able to get us, that you follow up with an email. And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for having us here and allowing us to share with you. And we look forward to supporting your students this summer.
Christy, thank you for the information. Definitely appreciate you being here and partnering with us.
So, Mr. Nicholson, I don't know if we want to hit some of these questions. I know you guys have been answering as they've come up here. So if you do have questions, go ahead and drop it in the Q&A down there at the bottom of your screen. I think Mr. Nicholson here is like, here's a basic question, right? What are the advantages and disadvantages? Why should I do this? What are the negatives, the downsides of doing the course advancement? If you just do a quick high level on that. I know we talked about it a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So course advancement is really designed to get students to an end result that their current trajectory does not have them on, right? So the advantages of course advancement are, if you're looking at your students' plan for the upcoming years, and let's say my students in 9th grade, and I believe that they could take geometry at an earlier time and move on to algebra 2, which would then allow them to get the calculus Whereas right now, if they didn't, they would have to take algebra, or they would have to take geometry, then algebra 2, then pre-calc. They could potentially get further in course sequence and have a better understanding of the math curriculum at a higher level prior to moving on from North Penn High School. So really, that is the advantage. The disadvantage is obviously you're taking a large amount of curriculum, 180 days worth of geometry, and you're trying to cram that into, and I don't really like to use the word cram, but you're pushing that into an 8-week time period over the course of a summer. So if you have a student that's a self-starter that's really into moving on because they want to be X, Y, or Z when they grow up, and they feel they need that coursework to have a good solid foundation to get to the next level, then it's an advantage to look at course advancement. The negative is really, do they have what it takes to pace themselves throughout the summer when all their friends are maybe outside playing or going on vacations or swimming in the pool? It is asynchronous, it is self-paced, but it also takes a special person when it's sunny and 85 degrees and their friends are all going out to do something, or even sitting inside and gaming, whatever, to sit down and focus on geometry or focus on physical science or a world language. So, there are some positives, there are some negatives. As far as that goes, I believe that's why the counselors are so critical here and so crucial here. They know your students and can look at their transcripts and see what their grades have been, and know a little bit about them and where they want to go and if it's really something for them. It has to be an individual decision. Please, if your student says, all my friends are doing this and I need to do this to stay with them, that's not the greatest of reasons. And we've seen students that simply don't complete the coursework because when it comes down to it, it's not their reason why. So, there are some positives and drawbacks there.
Mr. Nicholson, if I can add to that just about the time commitment, at MVP, we've found this is our 10th summer with summer school and with course advancement, and we partnered many of those years with the North Penn School District, but we found on average for students, they should be working at least 3 hours per day, 5 days per week to complete the course in 8 weeks. So yes, it is definitely a time commitment. So that's something to definitely keep in mind, that they're looking at least 3 hours per day. And depending on how they're progressing, they'll have to watch that progress bar, but they may even need to work longer than that, at least 5 days per week.
Christy, you jumped right in there. That's where I was going to go, because there's a couple questions. There's some about German, about courses, but basically how much time per day we were looking at. There's a couple questions in here about the materials. Is there a way to preview some of the materials or see what it looks like or what that workload might be? Is there any way to look at that?
I can show a course map for this particular geometry course just so that they can see the map of the lessons. It's really hard to show an assessment because we would have to progress a student through the course to show that, but I can certainly show the course map just so that they can get an idea of what's required for the geometry course, if that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think if we could show a quick example there, we don't need to go full deep dive into the full course, but if we take a look at that, give people a sense of what that looks like.
Sure, absolutely. Just a moment. Okay, so this is what's called the course map for the geometry course. And you can see on the course map, every lesson or unit, they're fairly consistent. They start with a warm-up. That's typically a warm-up or some type of just quick warm-up that only takes a few minutes to complete. And then we go into the direct instruction. That instruction is video-based. At that point, there'll be a summary where students will review and do an activity and connect around what they've learned. There's an assignment to complete at the end of every lesson, and then there will be a quiz after that. So you can see for this particular geometry course, we're looking at introduction to functions, function notation, still following that same structure, including in geometry, defining terms, measuring length and angles. You can see it's quite extensive and it goes on and on. But they all are structured the same. So for every lesson, there will be that warm-up, that direct instruction, that summary, the assignment, the quiz, and then at the end of every unit, there is a unit test, and then there is a midterm in the middle of the course, and then there is a course final at the very end.
Yeah, I think that's very helpful.
What-
Now, being said that it's asynchronous, are those like this is showing like January dates right now? Are there deadlines like you have to do so much work by this point, and as you move through?
No,
Or
because the course is asynchronous, this is going to set up, when we set this up, it'll be set up with your North Penn course date. So your first date will reflect the first day of your course advancement structure. And then your last day will reflect the last day, which is July 19th. These are suggested dates. If a student follows, and we go into depth in this in our orientation later, but if a student follows these suggested dates, they will complete the course on time. Can they work ahead because it is asynchronous and they can access it anytime? Absolutely. And if they get behind, then they're going to have to catch up at some point to complete that course by July 19th. But following these suggested dates will allow them to complete the course on time. There's also a course report that is built in to the course. It generates a PDF, it downloads it. But these are really helpful because once you get in, you actually start to work. Parents love the course report. They can go in and log in as their student and download it. But it shows that's those suggested dates for every lesson to keep you on pace so that you complete on time. It also shows your score on that particular, if there is an assessment or something attached to that particular part of the lesson. And then it also keeps up with the number of attempts you've made and the amount of time you've spent in each lesson. So that's another built-in support in the platform to help keep you on pace.
excellent. That's what I was going to ask about. Can you work ahead? And I know the other question is, can I catch up if I fell behind? Now, of course, we're hoping people are on time or working ahead, and that's why those dates are in there to help you give a guideline of where you should be. Nobody wants to be powering in a week's in 1 week a whole course.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, we just really recommend look at those suggested dates in that course outline and try to stay as close to them as possible. Again, like I mentioned, if you're going on vacation for a few days or you know you're going to be working for a few days, obviously work ahead or make a plan and be on schedule to catch up because it does move very quickly. Those 8 weeks go fast.
Excellent. So I don't know if this is Ann or Christy, but there's a question here about the payments or payment plans or splitting up the payments over the course of the course. Typically, how does that work with the payments? And is there an opportunity to either do a payment plan or figure out a different way for payment other than upfront?
So payment is due in full at the time of course registration. You have to make that payment through credit card, and it's all done there in our parent dashboard that I'd shown. There's more information about that on our website, but it is due in full at that time. We need that payment in order to be able to push that back over to you as the district for that final approval to enroll that student.
Excellent. I know, Mr. Nicholson, you've been answering these questions here. There's some questions about GPA, and I think you answered it, so it went away on me here. But kind of talking about the GPA and transcripts and why things don't show up in a transcript if it's done in 7th or 8th grade, and then the impact generally. Is there a negative impact to GPA if they take this for college applications? I don't know. I'm trying to find your answers there, but I know there's a couple questions that came up there.
Yeah, no, good question. I did answer one there, and there was another one that was there. So as far as transcripts go, we do begin tracking credits for high school graduation beginning the first day of 9th grade. Credits earned before that do go towards the course sequence. So for instance, if a student took Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2 before they enter 9th grade, they still do need 4 credits of math while they're in high school. And course advancement is one way to do that after students in 9th grade. We also have a robust dual enrollment program where students can take courses outside of North Penn through, let's say, Montgomery County Community College and get credits on their transcript for that. So once you get to 9th grade, we start tracking the required graduation credits to 23 credits for high school graduation, but not before that. As far as GPA, I did see that question. I assumed we'd answer that here. Really, the drawback, I guess, is if you get an A on your course advancement, it does not calculate and does not positively affect your GPA. If you get something less, it wouldn't negatively affect your GPA either. So, kind of a double-edged sword there. dual enrollment credits as students go through North Penn High School. And after, let's say, junior year, take a couple of courses at Montgomery County Community College. Those also don't count towards GPA or class rank. So it's not abnormal that courses that are taken outside of with a North Penn teacher in a North Penn classroom don't count towards GPA and class rank. We do have a very what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very difficult to calculate GPA because we have over 1,000 students that graduate every year. And what we don't need is 15 valedictorians. So it's a quite meticulous calculation of our GPA and class rank. And if you bring in outside courses that aren't leveled the way our courses are leveled with our teachers, it brings in a lot more ambiguity to our process. So MVP, dual enrollment, any of the courses that are taken outside of with a North Penn teacher do not calculate for GPA class rank.
Excellent. There's a couple questions coming here as we're hitting this 45-minute mark. I would ask everybody to throw in their questions here as we begin to wrap up here. I guess a question I see up here on top here, Mr. Nicholson, and for Ann and Christy, I guess hope or understanding the difference between being recommended for honor geometry in 10th grade and then taking it with here with the course advancement. Are they still in the same sequence to go to the next piece to go into Algebra 2? I think that's what the question is here. Just making sure, like, as you do these pieces with course advancement, how does that affect if I just take the course in at the high school, I'm in line still to advance in my normal procedure, right? And the normal course sequence. Is that accurate? I may not be asking that accurately.
So I think that specific question, if you're looking at that top one that's still remaining there, I really think that's one that falls under the let's talk to your current counselor and see what past history has shown, what past levels have shown, what some of our different achievement testing, PSSA, Keystone tests have shown to really see what that looks like. If a student we're currently going to be recommended for honors geometry instead decides to take course advancement for geometry, I would personally presume that they would be on track to take Algebra 2 honors after taking course advancement, but their performance in geometry in course advancement would play into that, as well as all of the factors leading up to this point. So that's one of those that's, while it seems a little bit more global, I would drill down on that with your student's counselor and just really see what that course progression would look like based on specific data for your student.
Excellent. So I think the next question we have in here is similar in that reach out to the counselor here, just asking about between 8th and 9th grade and what that means in the transcript. I think that's all decisions you talk to your counselor about what works best for your student. Right now, there's no open questions, so I'm going to leave it there. So I don't know between Mr. Nicholson and Christy here, if you guys have any final thoughts. And then honestly, if we just review what's next step, if a student/parent is interested in moving forward with registering for course advancement courses, what's the next step for them? So whatever final thoughts and our next steps to remind everybody again.
Yeah, so I can jump in there. And first of all, let me thank Ann and Christy for being here this evening. I also want to thank Ms. King, who's on here this evening, that worked tirelessly to get this all lined up and get all of you the links to register. So we are recording this. This will be available to folks that want to review our answers, want to review what happened, maybe you even wanted to register for this and you had another event this evening and couldn't make it. We will make sure that this is available to folks on the website. But the next steps, starting February 1st, you go to the North Penn School District website for families, course advancement, and you'll begin the registration process there. Speak with the counselor, get registered through that process, and then just follow that process through. Remember the deadlines. The deadline is March 22nd for the online application. You'll then hear back from the counselor. You register for MVP by May 3rd. The orientation that's in person is May 24th. And then we start the program. And July 19th is the end of the line, must be completed to be considered completion of the course and move on to the next course in sequence. So February 1st begins the registration process. I know I went through a lot there. February 1st through March 22nd, talk with the counselor, get registered, and then we'll make sure you get through the next steps. And as always, before I turn it back to you, Mr. Gilmer, thank you for being here. This is the third evening meeting I've been in with you in 2 nights. So I appreciate your time, as always, in running the Zoom and helping moderate things. We appreciate it.
Got it. No, we appreciate everybody. Ann and Christy, thank you so much for the information. Maureen, thanks for furiously answering questions there in the chat. Really appreciate it. Any final thoughts from Ann or Christy before we wrap up tonight?
Yeah, just really quickly, just thanks so much for having us here. And just a reminder that a lot of your questions about our program can be answered on our website, mvp.mciu.org. We have a lot of information about our program in general, and particularly about our summer program. So definitely go out and take a look at that. And if you have any questions for us, just reach out to us at mvp@mciu.org.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, everybody. I love doing this. We're in our Zoom format. We give the big old Zoom wave. We hope everybody stays warm tonight. And I hope this has been informative. This will be posted at the website. So we'll have this and the presentations posted to the website. Give us a day here, and that'll be up there on the website. We hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Thank you, everybody, for attending tonight. Go ahead and enjoy some dinner. We'll take care, everybody. We'll see you. Wave, wave, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Take care.